What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over X-Men comics as we work our way up to the Extension Agenda, the next crossover that we are going to talk about on this channel. But first, we gotta cover some stories from different books that actually lead into that crossover. And so we're gonna jump back over to New Mutants and cover a two-part story arc that takes place in New Mutants number 93 and 94. Now, in this two-part story arc, we are actually going to see Wolverine going up against Cable. Yes, you heard that right. It's Cable versus Wolverine. And so the opening pages of this book, we actually pick up with the New Mutants who are currently in battle right now. Oh, by the way, they're in Madripoor. Now remember, Madripoor is this country where you are technically able to get away with a lot of different crimes. Not all the crimes, but most of the crimes you commit, you can most likely get away with it. But apparently Cable and the New Mutants came here to meet somebody. But unfortunately, they were ambushed. Now, let's not forget that by this point in Marvel Comics, Cable is now the main teacher for the New Mutants. So first, we had Charles Xavier. Then we have Magneto. Now it's time for Cable. But Cable is completely different than the previous teachers. And by the way, he's on some kind of mission, and he needs the New Mutants' help to accomplish this mission. And so we kind of find out the New Mutants were supposed to meet up with Sunfire. Now, when it comes to Sunfire, he is a classic X-Men character. He first appeared back in X-Men number 64. And originally, he was a bad guy, but then over time, turned into a good guy who would actually help out the X-Men. Matter of fact, he had joined the X-Men back in Giant Size X-Men number 1, where him and the new X-Men had to go out of their way to save the old X-Men. Now, once they were able to accomplish that mission, well, Sunfire left the team. He said, listen, I only came here to help out with this one mission, and that is it. It's now time for me to go back to my country and only protect my country. And so he dipped out. Now, over the years, he would reappear in other character books and also X-Men books as well to kind of help out different characters. Like right now, he's here to meet up with Cable. So as soon as he arrives with the rest of the New Mutants, he is able to take down all the different bad guys who are trying to attack our heroes. But now we have to jump over to General Coy. Now, General Coy is a character we talked about before, but really in the Wolverine comics. He is one of the two main crime lords of Madripoor around this time in Marvel Comics. Now, the guys we saw earlier fighting against the New Mutants and Sunfire were working for him as a way to test out their abilities. And here is the reason why. Because Coy was actually working alongside with Stryfe. Now remember, by this point in time in Marvel Comics, we don't know much about Stryfe. All we know is that he is the leader to the Mutant Liberation Front, and that's really it. But apparently, he had hired Coy and his men to test out the New Mutants, but now it's time to handle them. And so he's going to use 3 other mutants that's working for him to take out our heroes. But also, he has other plans in Madripoor and other cities across the world. But getting back over to our heroes, we do learn why our heroes are currently in Madripoor 4. You see, there is a new drug out there called Sleet. And Sleet has the ability to get you high. But the problem is, after you get high, you then become enraged. Now, once you do become enraged, you end up killing somebody most of the time. And so somebody has taken the drug and turned it into a chemical warfare. And so there was a small village back in Japan, the home country for Sunfire. In that small village, somebody had poured the drug into the water supplies. And so everyone got infected by this drug and ended up killing each other off. The entire village was wiped out. Just like that. And so when it comes to Sunfire and the New Mutants, their main goal is to find the source here in Madripoor and to make sure that drug does not get out to major cities across the world. Now, like all different X-Men books, we gotta have some drama. Now, by this point in the story, you have our heroes split up into two groups, one in the air and one on the ground, to hopefully find the drugs in a fast pace. But I want to shift our focus over to the ground team, because that is where most of the drama is actually at. Now, the ground team is Cable, Sunspot, Richter, and Wolfbane. Now, by this point in Marvel Comics, Richter and Wolfbane were actually dating one another. Now, here's the problem though. You see, in the earlier books of New Mutants, Richter had a problem with Cable, and all we know is that Cable did something to his father. But that's really it. And so the rest of the New Mutants, they had asked Richter to kind of get over it, because right now Cable has only shown that he is a good guy trying to help out, and that's really it. And so Richter kind of moved past it. But the problem is Sunspot still believes that Richter's behavior could most likely cause problems for the team down the road. But he's also questioning why Wolfbane has chose Richter but none of the other guys who are also, single. And she says, hey, here are my reasons why, but let's move on from this topic. But for Sunspot, he can't get over the idea that she did not choose him or possibly somebody else, that she chose Richter, the newest member to the New Mutants. But again, she says move on, and she's tired of this conversation. Now, getting over to the air team, you have the air team actually be confronted by the three new members to the Mutant Liberation Front who are working for Stryfe. Now, when it comes to our three new characters, their names are Sumo, Dragoness, and also Kamikaze. Now, Kamikaze and Sumo unfortunately do not appear that many more times after this story arc, but Dragoness, she does reappear for a few more stories down the road. But either way, you do have our air team trying their best to actually take down these three new mutants. Now, at first, it does seem like our heroes might be able to actually deal with them, but unfortunately, somebody from behind takes out Sunfire, Warlock, Boom Boom, and Cannonball with a single shot. And we kind of find out it was Stryfe. Now, when it comes to Stryfe, he does explain to us that he was the one who had turned the new drug Sleet into a chemical warfare, and he does plan on using the drug on major cities around the world. Now, for our heroes, they're trying their best to understand why would he do that for, and the possibility that he might kill off innocent people, innocent children. And he says, why should I care? Because my main goal is to put the humans in their place, that this world belongs to the mutants, that humans are going to be second class, that mutants are going to be first class. And so you have Stryfe kind of like, dude, no matter what you tell me, I am not going to listen to you. Now, getting back over to our ground team just learned that something had happened to the air team. Now, we know what, but unfortunately, you have Cable say, listen, that has to wait, because he realized that somebody is about to attack them. Now, something else I do want to mention is that when it comes to the new mutants, besides Richter, they really do like Cable a lot. And here is the reason why. Because Cable actually trusts the new mutants when it comes to big time situations and different kinds of missions. When it came to Charles and Magneto, they didn't get that trust. When it came to Charles and Magneto, they always tried to sideline our young heroes when it came to different kinds of missions or different kinds of situations. And so for Cable, it's completely different. He said, listen, I know that I can trust you guys when it comes to different kinds of missions, different kinds of situations. Now, getting back over to the main problem, Cable realized that somebody is about to attack them, and that would be Wolverine. Now, here's the thing. Logan is not really happy to see Cable. Apparently, there's some bad blood between these two characters. Now, there is a story that actually does explain why, but that came out 10 years after this story did. But for right now, is Logan about to attack Cable? And so as we dive into the following chapter, we do see Wolverine and Cable fighting against each other. Now, when it comes to their battle, at first, it really does seem like you have Wolverine trying to kill off Cable, but then after a while, it changed into more of it's a friendly match because Wolverine does put away his claws. But you do have the two be able to go blow to blow to each other. And you have the rest of the New Mutants who were part of the ground team just have to stand there and watch these two characters fight against each other for unknown reasons. Now, like I said earlier, when it comes to X-Men comics, there's always some kind of drama. And really, the drama does continue with Cannonball, and here is how. So, when it comes to Cannonball, him and his team are currently prisoners, and he's trying his best to figure out how to get out of this situation. And he believes the best option is to flirt. And so he begins to flirt with Dragoness. Now, it actually does work because she does walk over to him and give him a kiss. Now, why are the two characters kissing? Well, Cannonball is able to grab the key from her. But here's the funny part. He did not tell the rest of his team what his plan was. And so for Boom Boom, she believes that Cannonball must be under some kind of trance, and that is why he's kissing the enemy. And so once you have the two characters done kissing and you have Dragoness leave the room, well, when it comes to Boom Boom, she said, oh my god, this man is so in love with Dragoness, the only way to help him is to kiss him as well, to help break him out of that trance. And so she does kiss Cannonball, but then he tells her, oh no, I was not under any kind of trance at all. Really, I kissed her to get the key. But that kiss was really good, so I was just really stunned. And for, well, Boom Boom, she's very surprised in what he said. But at the same time, it seems that now she is beginning to kind of like Cannonball and possibly date him down the road. Now, getting back over to Cable and Wolverine, those two guys are still fighting against each other. And the rest of the New Mutants, well, they're just watching this battle. But they realize they gotta stop these two and get back on track to find the rest of their team, but to also stop Stryfe as well. And so you have the New Mutants finally stepping in to stop Cable and Wolverine. And you have the two guys agree to work together to bring down Stryfe. Now, for Stryfe, he's not really happy about the idea of the air team, Cannonball's team, being able to escape. And so he tells everyone in the building to find those mutants and to basically bring them down. Now, after a few pages, you then have both of our teams being able to regroup with one another. But after regrouping, you then have Wolfbane realize that she was able to locate the source of the drugs inside the warehouse. And so now our hero's goal is to get rid of the drugs. But here is the problem though. You see, when it comes to our heroes, they're confronted by the bad guys, the Mutant Liberation Front. And so we get another battle. Now, while you have both sides fighting against each other, well, when it comes to Richter, he does something else to cause more problems for our heroes. Not really a problem, but it kind of does change their whole tactic when it comes to the battle. You see, when it comes to Richter, he sees Sunfire fighting against Dragoness, two characters who both have fire abilities. But here's the problem though. Sunfire was trying his best to contain his flames because he was very worried about the idea of setting the entire warehouse on fire. But for Richter, it looked like that Sunfire was struggling, and he thought that Sunfire needed his help. And so you have Richter hit Dragoness. And here comes the problem. You see, as she falls down, she does lose control of her flames. And she begins to set the whole entire warehouse on fire. Now you're probably wondering, how is that a problem? The drugs are now going to be destroyed. Well, here is your problem. Cable was trying his best to bring down Stryfe and the rest of his group right there. But now, with the entire building on fire, they have to retreat. If Cable wants to survive, he has to let Stryfe go. And so, unfortunately, he had to do that. And so you have our heroes retreat, but yes, the drugs are now gone for the time being, but Stryfe got away once again. And for Cable, that is not okay at all. He is very upset. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below. You never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.